does not appear, Brendan, that the Saints ever recovered from Bountygate.
Yeah. All right, guys. We're going to pick this back up next week and talk a little bit more in depth about some of the things that the Saints can do to correct what's going on within the organization. I just want to leave on this one question to both of you guys. And I wanted to post this to our audience, but I'm going to ask you guys this. If you're Mickey Loomis, Brendan and Professor, if you're Mickey Loomis and you had to trade either Drew Brees or Sean Payton, which one would it be? BB?
That's difficult for this reason, and I'll kind of talk through it, is with Drew, if the Saints were to trade Drew Brees right now, you're, I wouldn't say tanking away the next year or two, but you're definitely losing the piece that won you a lot of these games. And I know people can make the argument Drew throws interceptions at wrong times, and Drew isn't the entire offense. No, he's not, but he is definitely the leader.
No, he has won us the games. I agree with you. I do believe Drew has won. If we didn't have Drew, we wouldn't be at 7. We'd probably be at 2. Go ahead.
Correct. So, you'd be showing your fan base, okay, we're rebuilding at this point. But with Drew, I know there are teams that would be willing to give up a lot. Maybe not a lot, but something that looks like a pretty penny. I'm thinking teams like, you could think Houston or Denver, where it really looks like they're just missing that one piece.
That's what Denver really needs. Yeah. Go ahead.
So you're missing that one piece. So you're thinking, okay, well, maybe I can get draft picks or defensive players or different pieces to help rebuild this organization. So that's what you get out of Drew, but it seems when Sean's been on the market, at least the reports, which who knows what to believe report-wise anymore, but it seems like the value for Sean has definitely dropped off. But if it's me and I'm Mickey Loomis and you say you have to trade one of these players, if Tom Benson came to me and said you have to trade either Drew Brees or Sean Payton right now, who are you trading? I'm trading Sean Payton.
I agree.
The reason behind that is because, and we've talked about it on this show, the lifespan of a head coach on a single team barely hits 10 years. There's a lot of guys that never hit 10 years with the same team. And I'm not saying Sean's time is up, but I have this thing, and it's not, and you guys might think I'm nuts because I'm a part of that millennial, well, I can't speak tonight, generation. You don't see guys who start and finish their career with the same team, and I know Drew obviously didn't start with the Saints, but I really want Drew to end with the Saints. It would look weird to see Drew out of the black and gold. He's still the leader of this team. He still led the league in passing yards. He was in, believe he finished 3rd in touchdowns.
Yes.
I'm going to keep my key piece. I'm going to keep the key piece, and as long as I have Pete Carmichael, I still know I'm still getting offensive production. He's been with the Saints for just as long as Sean has. So bringing a guy who is going to be a little less power hungry, for lack of a better term, or a guy who's going to look at Pete Carmichael in the eyes and say, this is your offense. Let me be a head coach. I'm going to keep the crown jewel of New Orleans, and I'd trade the head coach and kind of say what the professor did in his example earlier is, it's been great, but it's time to go.
Okay, I like that analysis, Professor.
Well, that's why he's my journalistic and adoptive son, because I look at Brendan as my other son, one of my sons. He said everything that I was going to say. If I had to make and partly because I love Drew Brees 1,000%, because I read his book. If you have not read Drew Brees' book, that book is so touching. You can't help but love him. And I always tell people, I may critique Drew, and I have never met him. One day I pray I do meet him. but I love him 1,000% because I just think he is an upstanding gentleman. I do. So I understand why so many of us as Saints fans, we love him. So if I have to make a decision on when letting one of them go, without a shadow of a doubt, and part of it is my love also for Coach Payton, let this man go, New Orleans. He did what he could do. He did everything he could. He brought us a Lombardi trophy. And fairness to Coach Payton did not go out there and make the 24 turnovers. In fairness to him, that's not Coach Payton's fault. Now, that could be your unit coach's fault that did not teach Mark Ingram how to secure the ball. That could be your wide receivers coach that did not teach Michael Thomas how to secure the ball. That could be your quarterback coach not getting on Drew Brees for doing errant passing on forcing things. That's there right there. But because he's the head coach, he gets the blame. But in fairness to Coach Payton, that's not Coach Payton's fault. That's not Coach Payton's fault when the linemen are jumping offside. That's not Coach Payton's fault when Kobe Slina is dropping passes in the end zone or dropping passes critically near the goal line that could have kept drives alive, that could have made the difference in 2 games. Travaris Cadet, Brandon Cook. That is not Coach Payton's fault. In fairness to him. But I just believe that his message has gotten old and stale, and I don't know why the players can't execute what he's trying to do. I don't know why we've become this sloppy team. Look good at times, but never consistently, where all 4 areas of the game, coaches, special teams, defense, and offense, show up. The Saints do not have one single game, not one, that we can say where all 4 areas stood up and played for 4 solid quarters. You can't use the Rams games because the Saints defense gave up 21 points in the first half to Goff, 3 touchdown passes. You can't say the San Francisco game because Colin Kaepernick had almost 300 yards passing on them in the first half. So we don't have one game. They almost lost the Seattle game if the man had not been out of bounds, a game they dominated with 6 consecutive drives but kicked like 5 field goals or 4 field goals, whatever they did. So you have not one game where we can say, you know what? The Saints scored 38, 40 points, even 28. Special teams made all of their field goals. The defense held the team to 6 points, 12 points, 13 points. We have not one game like that this year. And that, my friends, Brendan and Kyle, is the problem. Because when you look at New England Patriots, when I look at, I'm not going to say Dallas because this is their first year, so I'm not crowning Dallas anything. I'm not crowning Atlanta anything. I'm looking at the 3 most consistent coaches in the NFL, which is the New England Patriots team, the Green Bay Packers team, and the Seattle Seahawks. These 3 teams, for the last 5-6 years, they're always in the playoffs. And right after that, Mike Tomlin with the Pittsburgh Steelers. These 4 teams, and I'm sorry, I got to give Andy Reid his credit because this is the 3rd or 4th year in a row for him since he left Philadelphia. Those teams are always playing pretty solid football, not turning over the ball a lot, getting turnovers, not making special teams mistakes, calling the right plays, being able to win the close games. So what happened to the Saints that used to be in that elite category? Yep, bad drafts, of course. Poor decisions, of course. I don't believe all of the talent that has come through New Orleans has been that horrible. I believe what has happened is the coaching has not been to the level that it needs to be, from the unit coaches up to the head coach, to get the players where. Remember what I talked to you and Bridget about? Getting people with the right resources and tools to make them successful. You must, in any organization, I don't care if it's football, I don't care if it's business, accounting, all the different things that I've been fortunate and blessed to do on this earth. My number one goal with all of my teams, I've got to make you successful. I'll give you an example that I'm going to end this. Me and Brenda was talking earlier this week, and I'm not going to share what we talked about, but we were talking about things that he wants to do and something I got to talk to you offline about, Kyle, to help him. My goal with any young person, male or female, family or not, I've got to, if you're going to be in my life, my goal is to make you successful, and my goal is to mentor you so that you surpass the things I've accomplished. And that's a lot, and it's hard to pass what I've accomplished because I've been blessed to do a lot of things, visually impaired or not. But I try to do that so you will have a greater life than me. Unfortunately, with the Saints, Coach Payton and his unit coaches, if they're going to remain on this team in 2017, they're going to have to dig deeper. And the players, let me say this to the Saints players that listen, to the millennials. You need to get off social media. You need to get off all the distractions that are running you after you leave the practice field and the games. Get out the bar rooms and all the revelry and partying that goes on in New Orleans. And you need to make a commitment to this football team and to your fans for 2017. Because one of the things I see, and it's not Coach Payton, it looks like at times this team is unfocused. I don't know what they have done on Saturday night, because to see them come out and play flat and lethargic as they have done this year, last year, and the year before at times, and in 2012, and sometimes in 2013, even though that was a playoff season, something is going wrong on Fridays and Saturdays before the Saints game. And everyone needs to make a commitment. Put in an extra hour. If the line is having trouble, let's all get together after practice. We're going to stay an extra hour or two later. Yeah, I know you got kids and wives and everything to go to. No, we're dedicating ourselves. If you say, players, you love Coach Sean Payton, if y'all really do love your coach, because I know anybody that I worked for, I worked hard for them. Hard for them. Kyle, you and I have business together. You know, I work hard for the things me and you work hard because we're a team. If you love Coach Sean Payton, New Orleans Saints players, you will put in, starting right now, you get your behinds in the weight room, you get your behinds, go out to California or wherever you need to go to start working on your craft. You'll get your behinds and watch the film of all-pro linemen. You'll watch the film of all-pro running backs, all-pro, you don't have to watch quarterback because you got a Hall of Fame quarterback, all-pro safeties, all-pro cornerbacks. Go out there and watch what they did, find their phone numbers, call them, Deion Sanders, Ronnie Lott, whoever you need to call and say, will you work with me in this office? You make enough money, give them something for sewing into you, and get your behind to do like Drew did the year they went to the Super Bowl, where he took everybody, a lot of the wide receivers, and brought them out there to San Diego. And we saw what a powerhouse the Saints became. Because I knew that year the Saints went to the Super Bowl, the way they was playing in preseason, we got something special getting ready to happen this year. But you got to go back to the articles and find out what Drew Brees and some of the players did the summer before the Saints went to the Super Bowl, their Super Bowl run. And that's my challenge. We're doing all these challenges, the ice challenge and all. That's the professor's challenge to the entire roster of the New Orleans Saints. Do you want to be average? Do you want to be good? Or do you want to be great? If you love Coach Sean Payton, that's what y'all need to do.
All right, cool. Well, good stuff, man. I appreciate what you guys had to say, but I'm going to just share this one thing with you guys. You brought up Mike Tomlin, and I compare Tomlin started after Coach Payton, a year after. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. We've been to 1. He won 1 Super Bowl, lost the other. He has never fielded a team with a losing record in his tenure. Not one of the Pittsburgh Steelers teams had a losing record. Something to think about. That's all I'm saying.
I think Mike McCarthy.
He has had 8-8 records, but he has never had a losing record.
And I think that's the same thing with Mike McCarthy. I think Mike McCarthy had one struggling year when Aaron Rodgers got hurt. Outside of that, I don't know too many playoffs that Green Bay has not been in there. We already know the New England fact. And for the last, since the Saints game and Seattle, after that, I think Seattle has now been in the playoffs 5 consecutive years. 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12. Mm-hmm. If they've been in there, 5 straight years.
So that's all I'm saying, guys. I just think, other than the people you surround you as